what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Using My Story. Once again, most of you guys know my name is Samuel. We're here with another fresh podcast. We have a very excited, very humbled to have a very exciting guest with us today. Let's take a moment. Go ahead and introduce yourself, brother.
What's up, guys? My name is Meyta, and I am a musician slash vocalist slash producer. You name it, I do it when it comes to music. And my goal is for people to find hope. So, yeah, I'm honored to be here.
Nice. So you're a one-stop shop.
That's right.
That's what I'm talking about, a one-man army. Well, welcome to the podcast. We're super glad. Again, like I said, we're actually really humbled that you're here. So we're just going to jump right in, and we're going to start just asking questions and, see where this goes and just find the flow with each other. So, you were talking about bringing hope. So, in hope in what way?
So I have always had a heart towards suicide and also depression because I realized that a lot of kids especially deal with depression and suicide, and it's actually infuriating because I feel like there's no hope for those people. And so I want to bring that hope through my music, through my art, and really just give them a space to feel heard and also not just leave them in that place as well.
So you're shining a light onto that, which is great because you have a really solid platform that you're using. So when we're talking about mental health, in your childhood, just thinking about that for a second, did you suffer with any type of mental health issues?
Definitely. I dealt with very deep depression, probably a majority of my life, and then also anxiety. Those things definitely ran how I lived for a very long time. Yeah, so around, I think, 13, I dealt with pornography addiction, and I never really felt understood because I grew up in a church setting, and it seemed like everyone around me never questioned their beliefs. And so I was forced to be a Christian, really, is what it felt like. And so when I began to actually question what I believed, I went through this depression because I felt alone. I didn't feel understood, and the way I would cope with it was pornography. And then my family, sheltering me, they found out I was watching pornography, and there wasn't really a embrace or just opportunity for vulnerability, but rather there was shame. And so I just wanted to run and hide in every single situation when it came to religion, when it came to what I was doing. And so in result, I went through a deep depression and started to really begin to deal with anxiety. And I would say from that point on was just a life of escapism, where I would do anything to escape.
So you were sharing that you said at 13 years old. So would you say was that like a turning point in your mental health and being able to identify like, hey man, something's not right?
Exactly.
Okay. Which is really young, right? To be able to come to that decision and be like, look, I'm struggling right now.
Absolutely.
So when you were in those moments, what did you use? What did you utilize to help you get out of that?
Well, as mentioned earlier, pornography was that means of escape at first. And then as I got older, around 16, I then began smoking. And so that was, those two were my outlets of escapism. And so whenever I would smoke weed, I would feel just this high for a temporary time. It was just this cycle that was continual. And then on top of that, I started to get into relationships of dating. And so it was just, these three things were just cycling in my life. And I would be happy one day, really depressed one day.
Yeah. So when that happened and you're going down this rabbit hole, right? Because now you're smoking weed, I'm assuming. Yep. And then you're in the pornography, and then you're in these relationships that are obviously, they're meaningless, physical, whatever it may be. At what point did you say, okay, I need help? Like, I need to reach out to somebody. Somebody's got to help me.
I mean, it was probably around 19 years old that I just had this huge turning point with my mental health and my journey in general, where I really, I don't know, I just realized that I was nothing. Like I really felt weak and defeated, and felt like a huge failure in my life. Like I disappointed a lot of people, and this was the first time in my life where I was like, wow, I can't keep escaping because I really am hurting, like really bad.
Yeah. Like we have a lot of younger people reaching out to us, you know, and some of them are ashamed and they don't want to share what's going on with their life, or they feel like they're going to be judged, you know, and that stops a lot of people, even adults, from sharing what's going on with them, especially when watching pornography or, you know, things that are very explicit. It kind of brings a lot of shame to people, right?
Yep.
Like there's something wrong with me. I'm perverted. I'm sick in the head. Something's wrong with me, you know, which in turn, they just hermit up and they won't share anything with anybody.
Yep.
You know, and so with you shining light on these things and being open and honest on this platform, not only on our platform, but also on your own, which is, there's a commonality, right? Where it's mental health and just trying to identify and shine light on things and show people there's no shame, like there's no condemnation. We're not here to call you out or make you feel some type of way about yourself. What we're actually saying is we've been there and here we are.
That's good.
And we are making it day to day. And we are still facing things day to day, but the thing is, we've obtained tools and coping skills to be able to help now and be able to reach out to people and walk with our heads held high instead of isolating and being in a room by ourselves or whatever it may be.
That's great.
So that's dope, man. So during that whole situation, you said you got to 19. Now, would you consider being at 19 and having that decision that you're going to seek help? Would you consider that your rock bottom?
Yes. So actually give you detail about that rock bottom moment. I moved to New York City at the beginning of 19. Okay. And at this time it was 2020. And so March 2020 was when I moved, which was the time that COVID hit.
Yeah.
And so I am moving to New York City, and at this point I'm like, okay, my music is at a certain place where I can actually pursue it. And so I'm going to, I don't know, I really had an ego around my music. I was like, I'm going to be famous or whatever. And so I'm going to move to New York City, and that will be the means of getting to that place. And I moved in with my sister. And then COVID hit. And now I am being told that there are bodies in trucks just being hauled, you know, through New York City, picking up bodies that have been dying from COVID. And so I'm like, okay, I can't go outside. And so I'm stuck in this building, and so is my sister, for 2 weeks straight. We're not leaving at all. We're literally ordering all our food. We're getting our groceries ordered to us, all these things. And so my days started to slosh together. And this is the first time where I think my depression actually went to an insanity, where I was genuinely, I remember at one point I was dreaming of trees. like it was that level of like being like locked down of like, I can't wait to just go look at a tree.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, something's wrong here. And the way I would cope in that moment was smoking, and then the smoking wouldn't cope. It wouldn't help anything. It got so often that I was smoking that being sober was my new high.
Wow.
And then the new way I would cope with my sister is I would argue with her and then start to really just accuse her and blame her for all these random things, and then vice versa. She was doing the same thing. We talk about it now. We're great now, but at the time we were not so great. And I ended up, basically, long story short, I was dealing with a lot of shame with my life, especially dealing with pornography.
Yeah.
And I ended up moving back to Alabama. To get away from New York City. And I growing up in a Christian household, it was a little sheltered, and so they ended up finding out that I was smoking, and they ended up finding out that I was watching pornography, and I just wanted to beat myself up, because it was going through those thoughts of what you named earlier of like, oh, I'm a pervert, and I can't believe that I even dealt with these thoughts. Like I can't believe I liked that, like all these things. Yeah. And so I wanted to escape. And so the common theme is me escaping. And so I went to my friend and I was like, hey bro, this is what happened. This is what, my family was telling me that they even told me that I need to move out because they found out about these things. And he was like, okay, don't worry, man. We're going to get you really high. And so in that moment, kind
of seems like that's the solution.
Yeah. So we packed a GB bottle. It was a Gatorade bottle, so it was really crappy. But we packed it up, and next thing I know, I hit this GB bottle, and I start seeing colors change, which is that's not a thing being high. And I'm like, okay, what's going on here? I was like, dude, this is awesome. And he's like, yeah, exactly. I put shatter in the GB bottle. I was like, okay, cool. And then 5 minutes in, I'm paralyzed on the ground. I hear voices start yelling at me. They're saying, you're a failure. You should kill yourself.
Wow.
You really are going to hell, like all these things. And I was freaking out. I was panicking. And then he was gone. He was in his own world. So he went into the woods. And so I'm left here alone, feeling like a failure. At this point, I have a theme of escaping my entire life. At this point, I can't escape. I'm stuck with these demonic voices yelling at me, telling me that I should give up.
Yeah.
And so I did the only thing that I knew to do, and that was to call out to Jesus. And the voices left. I wasn't paralyzed anymore.
Yeah.
And this is a huge turning point in my life where I began to realize that I have been escaping and I need help.
Yeah.
So that, long story short, that
was your rock bottom.
That was my rock bottom.
Is when you experience something that you've never ever experienced.
Yes.
I mean, that had to be a scary situation. Even in there's a little bit of my story and my addiction I shared as well, that I was up for an X amount of days and hallucinating, just seeing things that weren't there and hearing things that weren't around, and somebody had to literally put me to sleep by hitting me and just knocking me out and then putting me in a chokehold and just putting me to sleep.
Whoa.
So it's like, you really don't think about the effects of your addiction, right? Or how far down the rabbit hole you're going, because you're just basically in a free fall and you're just reaching and grasping for straws at any point just to make yourself feel some type of way sufficient to get through the day, right?
Facts.
So, that's one thing I love about people who work with mental health and people who work with substance abuse, because a lot of people don't realize they go hand in hand, right? It's Jack and Jill, man.
That's right.
It's one of those things that's like, people who's stuck in addiction, they have mental health issues. They're underlying or they're up front, but there's mental health issues there. Now it's just identifying them and working through them, right? So just to give people that hope is what we strive for daily, right? Because we want people to be able to come in here and sit across from another person and give somebody hope, and give somebody the faith to understand, like, man, it's possible. It's possible to change. And you went through things at such a young age. So from 13 to 19, you're just escaping life and you're escaping reality and you're trying to function in a daily. Then you hit COVID, right? Because COVID wasn't nice to anybody. There's a lot of people who are still struggling because of the effects of us being on lockdown nationwide, right? Fortunately for me, I was what was considered a crucial worker, right? So I had to work every day. And so I was working every day. I was making it taking me 45 minutes to an hour and a half. I was making it to work in 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes daily. And I was like, this is crazy. It's like a ghost town, just driving through and seeing nobody, not seeing anything, and it's just, people don't realize still till this day is the mental health effects that had, especially on the younger community, right? Because they were going to school, right? Because a big part of school is what? Socialization. If socialization get cut off, now you're just gaming all day, then you're eating, then you're smoking weed, watching pornography, whatever it may be. Next thing you know, you're isolated. You don't have any more friends because all your friends are known through a headphone and a screen, and you're just in a gaming party, right? So then you get reintroduced back into society because now COVID's clear. You don't know how to function. It's wild.
Dang.
It's wild. That kind of puts you like in an institutionalized mindset. So now we're going down the rabbit hole.
Absolutely.
Right? So 13 to 19.
Yep.
You started creating music. Now you're in New York. Moved back home to Alabama.
Yep.
At that point, were you still in music, or were you just dabbing into music, or were you like full-fledged into it?
After that rock bottom moment, I mean, music was on my radar, but it was kind of like, okay, I need to take care of myself.
Yeah.
Before I even think about art.
So when can you say that you officially just sold out and said, hey, look, I'm going to pursue this wholeheartedly and I'm going to go after it and there ain't nothing going to stop me?
Wow. Actually, there was a moment. So I had that moment with with God, where I felt like those voices left, and I felt like the paralysis left. And then a month later, I had this honest conversation with God, and I was like, okay, there's nothing else that satisfies, and so I think I'm gonna have to give you a try. And so that's when I decided to have a turning point with Jesus and just be like, God, I'm trying to escape, and I just want to. Nothing else is satisfying. I want to see, like, I want to be close to you, and I want to see what that looks like. And that's when I believe I discovered satisfaction itself. But after that moment, there was a raw conversation he had with me, where he was like, your music, it's another means of escape for you, even with you being close with me. And he was like, would you be willing to lay that down? I was like, I don't know about that. And it was really this 3-hour process, a conversation with God of like, would I be willing to lay this down? I don't know. And then I was like, okay, you're the only one that satisfies. My music doesn't satisfy me. So I decided to lay it down. And basically the next day, I ended up discovering that God actually wants me to use music as a means to help people find freedom, but I wasn't able to discover that until I laid it down myself. And I realized that there was some pride that I had in music, and when I laid down that pride, the Lord was like, okay, you're ready. Let's go. Let's get this. So that was the shift. That was when I went fully after it.
So to put that into a nutshell, is when you surrendered everything, is when you found true freedom.
Yep.
That's wild.
Yep. I put that actually. So I think we were going to talk about the album just a little bit later, but just to give you a quick glimpse, that at the end of my album, I say, we learn how to die, and at the end of our death was really the beginning of life. And that is really the story of freedom for me with mental health. Was when I learned how to die, I learned how to find true life.
So let's jump into that statement a little bit.
Let's do it.
Because that's actually a really solid statement.
Yeah.
But some people, obviously, everything's open into interpretation.
Yep.
Some people may take it a literal way. Some people may take it a figurative way.
Sure.
But can you just elaborate on that statement a little bit for me?
Well, I mean, as I've clearly stated, I'm Christian, and so the principle of Christianity is sacrifice and really surrendering yourself. And that's what you can see with Jesus. He was the greatest representation of that. When he went on the cross, he was like, I'm willing to go on the cross for you and put all the things that you deal with, all of your sin, all these things on the cross, just so that I can have a close relationship with you. And then 3 days later, you see him resurrecting from the dead. And really what he's doing is he's displaying, I mean, there's multiple things he's doing, but what he's doing through that is he's displaying what we can do as Christians as well, is we can put all of our pain, all of our what you name it. For me, mental health, pornography addiction, weed addiction, escapism, I can put that on the cross. And then the way I put that on the cross is by dying to my own desires and really having Jesus bring me back to life. And that's legitimately what happened with me. So
that's deep, man.
Yeah.
So as we stated earlier, man, like I love the fact that you use music to bring light and to shine light on subjects that a lot of people are confrontational about. It's kind of controversial, I guess you could say, because a lot of people aren't talking about it, or it's just, you're just depressed, or you just have anxiety. But there's so much more to that, right? So when you're sharing your music, which I'm going to pass control over to you here in a second.
Sure.
Just so we can catch a glimpse for the community, let them know a little bit about it, what inspired you for this track, whatever it may be. But I'm going to pass it to you to go ahead and cue it up, and then we can just jump on it from there.
I was asked to pick a couple of songs. The first song that we have on the screen is All You've Ever Known. This song, as of right now, and people ask me all the time, what's your favorite song? I like every song in its own way, but this song really captures, I would say, that time in my life where I felt misheard, misunderstood. So we can listen to it for a second. Now
thought this is what it'd be like to find it's all been a lie. I guess I'm too young to know what is wrong or right. White picket fences, the happy family life. Divorce, kids are in suicide. Is this really life? Is this really life? I didn't wanna believe it. You showed me a world of gold. Now left here to see, then I don't have a home. I'm sitting here just stating, but how could I blame you? It's all you've ever known. When I look you in the eyes, I get a glimpse of what you've been through. How could I have missed what's going on? Can we go back to playing pretend? 'Cause I don't wanna see all our sins. Is this really life? Is this really life?
So that song, it's I don't know. I think that's an underrated song. So I have other songs that are popping off on the album, but I'm like, shoot, if I'm gonna show a song, I want this to be the song that I show.
Yeah.
And so I just want people to listen to that one, because again, it's like a glimpse into all those messy things that I was dealing with in my life,
Yeah.
just put into a song. Okay, the next song, this one's popping off. Everyone knows this song. If they were to hear my name.
I've tried to feel this void inside my soul with all the highs that I know. Yeah, I've been searching for satisfaction. Yeah, I don't know where I'll go. Where else will I run to? Who will love me like you? Who will love me like you? I don't need all my questions answered.
Okay, here's that. We can finish. I want to show you real quick.
Okay.
that line that I brought up.
Okay.
I didn't think we'd make it this far. With all the lies in our heads, I thought we would end up in shambles. There were a lot more hurdles in the way than we expected. But we learned how to die. And at the end of our death, it really was the beginning of life.
That's it.
Yo, that's fire. That's good, dude.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, no, you definitely gained a follower. I'm like definitely gonna download everything,
Thanks,
bro. For real.
Appreciate it.
Like I really dig it, man. That was like I have my music library is like very Baskin Robbins.
What do you mean?
I'm I'm all over the
vanilla?
place.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I'm like anything and everything. If I like
that's how I am, yeah.
if I like it, I dig it. I'm gonna download it. You know,
Sweet,
and
cool.
people are like,
No, I'm with that. That's awesome.
yeah, just keep it everywhere, bro. I go
Yeah.
from classical to like some you know some Metallica to.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like, oh, that's nice. That's,
Yeah.
that's a good beat.
I feel
you
like
know?
that's the best kind of music listening.
Yeah,
I think
for
people
sure.
that aren't like that are like egotistical about their
Yeah,
taste.
like they're just like one
Yeah,
genre.
they're like, oh, I don't listen to anything else. I'm like, bro, you're tripping right now. You're tripping.
So many options. It's like
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
a buffet
exactly.
and just having bread.
Yeah, I'm like, you probably. Yeah, that's actually a good point. Like people are like usually picky eaters. They only eat chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro,
So
dude,
many
you're missing out like sushi.
Yeah,
You know.
Yeah.
But they won't try it. You know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well,
You
you
know-
don't know if you don't try.
You know what's a good one?
What?
Sushi to sashimi. Like, bro,
Yeah, exactly.
come on, bro.
Exactly.
Step it up a little bit. Rice ain't that good.
Yeah, I'm a foodie, so
There you go.
I'm obsessed with
We
food.
found another thing in common. That's what I'm
There
talking
you go.
about. So,
Let's
you know, again, I'm just really humbled and grateful to have you on here today. But what we like to do when we start to close out a little bit is we give our guests an opportunity just to give some hope.
Sure.
You know, speak from the heart, and somebody out there, an aspiring musician, somebody who's probably going through the things that you've gone through, possible 13-year-old that's going through the things that you've spoken about, 19-year-old may have just moved with his sister, things may be happening, but this is just your moment, man. You know, the platform is all yours. Camera, you know where it's at. Go ahead and let it ride, man.
I think a big issue with society, if I could complain about society just a small moment, I would say, especially with art, there is this space where we have come to a realization of our mental health, but we wallow in it, especially through our art. You see a lot of artists, they're wallowing in their pain. And what I really want to say, if I could say anything, is that there is actually hope. Hope is not a fantasy. It's actually possible. And you're actually closer to hope than you may realize. The thing is, society, the world, all these things want to tell you that it's really far and it's an equation to find freedom, but it's not an equation. It's actually much closer than you realize. And I found freedom through Jesus. I would say that God, he hears you. He's listening to you, and he actually wants to give you freedom. So if I could say anything, I would say reach out to God. He's there.
Nice. So, I mean, you know, guys, it's Meyta. You guys give him a follow. Check him in. Download his music if you liked it. You know, but if you guys are struggling, just like I like to say, you know, you're not alone. We're here. We've been through it. We want to help you in any way that we can. You know, all of our links are in our bio, but also we answer any direct messages that you guys have. We have a full team that is up to bat whenever you guys reach out. If there's anything else you guys want to see on this podcast, let us know, man. We're always open to suggestions. But again, at the end of the day, you're not alone. If we can make it, you can make it. We'll see you next time.
Don't you lose sight